If you're an aspiring actor, don't go to dramaschool.com. There is another way. Don't go to dramaschool.com.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me this evening. How's it all going? Hope you're good tonight. We are looking. It's all about you, your unique self to every role. We won't hang around. Let's get straight on with it then. So, yes. Let me just get this all set up. Won't be a moment. Yeah. So, so do let me know. Where are you streaming in from? Where did you find out about this workshop, and where are you right now with your acting career? That'd be of real interest to me. Always keen to know exactly who I'm talking to and the level of so acting ability or progression you are with your careers, because then I can really help you. Do let me know. You can comment if you're watching this on your mobile. You can type in the chat below the YouTube section, or if you're watching on your laptop, I believe it's to your right, there's a box. Do let me know. Do let me know you can hear me okay as well. We had sound issues last time, but do type away. And yeah, and I always ask this, so at the very end, I'm going to ask you to share over the chat again one thing that you've learned that you can really apply and take forward into your acting after this workshop. So let's move on. So about me then. So keep this bit short because I want to focus on the training, not the bit about me, but just to give you a context. So I'm a screen acting tutor. I'm a script writer and screenwriting coach, and I'm also a producer, writer, director. I worked on a number of top UK TV shows in the mid to late 90s. Soap operas. I love soap opera. My main claim to fame is I created the world's first internet soap opera. I trained with Hollywood's #1 screen acting coach, and it's her philosophy, Ivana book, that I've kind of made my own, enhanced, I do believe, made it easier, and which I offer in my training, and which I present aspects of you tonight. This stuff really works. It takes all the fluff and the waffle out of screen acting training and gets people that have never done it before acting really good in 10 minutes. I'm also a professional happiness coach, teaching positive psychology and success motivation, and I've merged that information with my drama training as well, because psychology is obviously how the human animal is functioning. With drama and acting, we're trying to replicate the human animal, and so yeah, so they work in perfect synergy. We've got some comments coming through. Wow, someone is coming in from Spain. That is brilliant. I dare James, it's going to happen. Aniha, thanks for joining us, Aniha. Have you gone international already? And oh wow, we got someone. Is it Dewey? Is coming in from Thailand, and you found out about it through Meetup. That is brilliant. We've gone international already. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, so let's move on. Yeah, you can find out more about my happiness coaching at Mr. Happiness 2000. I've literally just come off another live stream presenting about that. And yeah, so the purpose of my training, I've also created a website-based drama training platform, teaching you the screen acting techniques of the Hollywood stars. And my aim is to making quality industry relevant drama training accessible to all. Because drama training currently is extremely pricey, which is not fair. It's only rich kids with parents in the already in the industry getting in, and I've worked with real talent in the past that has not had a break. So yeah, let me play this little video. It's off my website. You may not have seen it, but this just tells you a bit more about my training, and then we'll start the workshop.
Don't go to dramaschool.com.
The concept of don't go to drama school may seem crazy to some. How can you possibly learn acting techniques via video training? But think of it like this. Basically, any training is an information exchange, but the big difference here is that you aren't paying thousands of pounds and moving away from home to go to drama school. You get all the information you need here. And by joining our private community group and uploading filmed material of yourself when prompted, you'll be able to get the necessary feedback to help guide and develop you. The most important thing is that you physically perform all of the exercises set. You can only become a great actor by doing and demonstrating your understanding of the craft. An intellectual understanding of the concepts will not make you a great actor. And you only get great at any activity by constantly repeating it until it becomes second nature. The process of learning to act is very similar to that of learning to drive a car. You're going to hear me using that analogy a lot. To successfully learn to drive, you physically have to get behind the wheel of a car, turn the engine on, drive the car out into heavy traffic and risk crashing the vehicle. It is the same with acting. You have to risk making mistakes to truly progress. You can only ever learn through doing. As the course progresses, you'll be given a number of multi-character scripts. I recommend that you start sourcing friends and family to learn the lines and support you on your acting journey. But failing that, our private community forum is where you can start sourcing fellow actors who live local to you. Many past students have made friends for life through my drama training, because in the process of exploring the scripts, you explore yourselves, sharing and expressing your vulnerability. The scripts you will be working on will include monologues, soap opera scenes, cop drama and period drama scenes. As the course progresses, we'll also include classic theatre writers such as Shakespeare, Pinter, Chekhov and Beckett to show how the techniques taught also apply to these classic authors. I hope this overview of our course has fired you with the excitement and determination to get started. So what are you waiting for? I look forward to helping you achieve your acting success dreams.
Who was that charismatic, good-looking guy? Hello to, is it Rintu and Lorraine? Rintu coming in from Germany. Hello, and Lorraine from London. Thanks for joining us. So let's move on then. Yeah, so we look at all these components with the training. Okay, so there's acting for the camera frame and the difference between screen acting and stage acting, audition techniques, acting for shot sizes, screen distances, screen reaction, screen business, continuity, typecasting, vocal levels. And there's the whole Ivanich book process, screen, script analysis process, which I've sort of made my own as well. So loads is in the training. But moving on now. Yeah, and it's $9.99. You can do $9.99 per workshop, or you can sign up for the app and the website version, which I believe is just under £40 a month. So yeah, and you got it's all there. So I want to move on now. You also get mindset training, which is really, really valuable. And I do these free live stream events every month, and a lot of them are based on the mindset stuff, because a lot of drama schools don't teach the mindset. So let's progress then. And there's going to be 3 free gifts for those of you who stay to the end. So yes, I'm someone who over delivers all the time with everything I can. And yeah, so let me know then. So how many of you have been to drama school? How many of you are moving in the direction of some kind of acting career? And how many of you are frustrated with where you are? That's always of interest. Do let me know in the chat. These are acting career stats. They're UK focused, but they're worrying, probably the same all across the board. Drama schools teach you acting technique, but not success mindset and marketing. And that's where so many graduates of the UK drama schools don't make it into the industry, because their mindset is wrong and they don't know how to market themselves. They can act, and I've seen really good talent in my time, but they don't know how to act. I fix that. Only 16% of media professionals in the UK, including acting, are from the working classes. It's become a very elitist public school dominated industry. And these are the latest stats from 2020. And this is shocking. Over 90% of trained actors give up on their acting career dreams within 18 months of graduating from the mainstream drama schools. Something is very, very wrong with current drama training. So now I've stepped up to fill this void. So we're looking at tonight's topic then is it's all about you, how you bring your unique self to every role. Okay, so let's look at your comments then. So tell me, what are your biggest acting aspirations and what are your fears? Let's make this personal. Do type in the chat now. I think it's best if we make this session interactive because it can get quite, if it's me talking all the time, I could run out of vocal power, which I won't. But I think it's more engaging if we're responding. So this is a conversation rather than a lecture. Too much training online is someone talking at you, and there's no individuality in the process. So yeah, do let me know, what are your biggest acting aspirations? And by that I mean, where do you see yourself? Where would you love to go? Do you see yourself being up there with the Hollywood greats? Do you see yourself being an acting icon to future generations? And what are your biggest fears around acting or when acting, anything to do with acting? Do let me know. I'll see those come through on the chats. So this is quite shocking. The two core reasons why most people's acting and also other creative aspirations fail, and this applies to acting, writing, painting, singing, etc., is most actors fail because they're uninteresting and boring. I will explain why, but yeah, it's shocking. Something is happening within them, within their process, that is switching off their charisma and making their performances predictable and dull. Yeah, they play the predictable, the obvious. They play what we've seen before. So they're imitating other actors and they lack charisma. Why is the big question? Why is this happening? Why has no one rectified this before? Most actors, this is really interesting. And over the years, I've been teaching screen acting now for, wow, it's over 20 years. Wow, I've just realized that myself. So most actors go into acting to run away from themselves. They want to become someone else. And this is impossible. So you get those that want to be famous. It's too much work. Don't even bother with that. Seriously, if you want to be famous and you want to be immortalized in history, shoot the president or the prime minister. You'll be in the history books forever. Your life will end, quality life will end as it is now, but you will have achieved that dream. But acting is too hard if you're trying to deny yourself and become someone else. And I'll explain that more in as we go on. The only way you can ever achieve any kind of success is to offer a completely unique, authentic product to the marketplace. So you kind of have to, and this comes into the marketing aspect that I also do workshops on. But it is about seeing yourself as a product, almost like in the same way that when you go to the supermarket, there's different options for toilet cleaner, or there's different options for baked beans. And there's something about one particular brand that makes it stand out and you choose to buy it above the others. And some of these brands you're willing to spend more money on than others. So it's not always to do with cost, but there's something that is about a particular product that is unique and has a USP, unique selling point in the baked bean or the toilet cleaner marketplace. And it's the same rules apply with acting. The big thing is you have to be completely unique. You have to bring your complete originality to the acting industry. And if you think about it, if you reject everything that is you when you go into acting, and as I say, a lot of people are trying to run away from themselves, so they're rejecting their unique personal life experiences, their pain and trauma, what they love and their happiness. What if you reject all of the big aspects of your life? What else have you got left to offer, to draw upon? You haven't got anything. If you're in complete denial to yourself and thinking, no, I want to shut me off and become someone else, but you can't ever really do that. You can only be yourself when performing and activate yourself. Yeah, you've got nothing to offer if you switch yourself off. So it is all about you. It's all about bringing your uniqueness, what makes you unique as a human being, to your acting. So you're kind of playing an amplified, exaggerated version of yourself, not switching yourself off. You're making the character you. Who else we got? Live in London, found this event through Meetup. Thank you very much. No, that's cool. Thank you. So yeah, if you switch yourself off, all you've got left is imitation and cliche. These are empty and repetitious. Your acting will become lifeless, and I've seen a lot of that over the years, and one-dimensional. It's painful for the audience to watch, especially if you're working in in unison with actors or a fellow actor that is tapping into their truth. They're the charismatic one on stage, or on screen. They're the ones that are magnetized in the audience, and they completely outshine you that's trying to deny who you are. And it's funny as well, because with the most, just thinking this, with the most in tune and authentic actors, there's a friskiness, there's a high energy about them, a playfulness, a spontaneity, whereas the ones that are kind of shutting off and denying who they are, it's a heaviness, a depressiveness. So yeah, it's very readable on an energy level, the difference. Yet despite this, most UK-based drama schools still teach empty technique, and it's still very stage-based at a time when screen acting is on the rise. And if you think of this now, a lot of theatres in the UK are being demolished or turned into bingo halls, where screen acting, and not just television, because the amount of channels that's exploded over the years, and there's, they demand content, new content. There's also the streamers now, Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon, you've heard of them all. And the big thing about the streamers, and the big opportunity as well, which I'm excited about, and you should be too. The big thing about the streamers is that they've created these platforms where they constantly need the next big thing. They constantly have to have loads of content, because if they close for one day, half their subscription user base would just cancel, and they lose all their money. So they constantly have to have the next big thing. At the moment, like certainly with Netflix and Disney, they've gone in at a level as if they're making Hollywood quality content for these platforms. And I don't know if you've seen the news in the last week. Globally, these brands are slashing their budgets because they're not making any money. I think Netflix are slashing their global spend something like 300 million. It's humongous amounts. So, but yeah, they're not making any money. And also, the opportunity here is that at the moment, with productions like The Crown, which are costing 4 million an episode, I think it is, and then with that, there's all the high salaries of all these known actors. It's going to change. It's going to very quickly move to a situation akin to the early VHS age, where there was a new platform and lots of smaller studios sprung up that were using new talent, new actors, new writers which were more affordable, less expensive than the known stars, and their content got produced. This talent got utilized, and they became stars in their own, because they were just as good as the established industry stuff, but they hadn't got a break until that change in from going from cinema to VHS. And yeah, so this is the most exciting time to be an actor, honestly, seriously. And some of my gifts at the end are going to give you open a door into the industry to stay with us. But you've just got to make sure you're prime, make sure you know how to act, you know how to deliver fantastic deep acting, because yes, it says here, viewers now demand more real, authentic, deeply emotional performances. They want truth, and they know truth, because there is a lot of truth out there. And so because they're experiencing a lot of really truthful acting, they instantly know when something's off, when someone isn't as good. And if you could get your break, and then you could not be as good as your fellow actors, that could be the end of your career. You can't afford to compromise on what you're going to bring to the acting industry. But ironically, it's just about bringing yourself. I'll explain more. So if you reject everything that is you when going into acting, your unique personal experiences, your pain and trauma, your love and happiness. You've got nothing left to offer, have you? If as an actor you are genuinely moved in the moment and your emotions are real, so are we, the audience. We're moved as well. It's almost, and it's weird, isn't it? Because if you watch like these big classic movies from say 40, 50 years ago, it's, although the emotion was, the actual emotion was experienced then, it was captured in celluloid, captured on, screen, and it's played back and, repeated 50 years later. And those moments are still as emotional now as they were 50 years ago, because it was truthful to the actor. And why do we, as the audience members, keep coming back to TV and the movies? Because we want to feel genuine emotion, whether it's happiness or sadness. So we're asking our acting talent, make us feel, take us to those emotional places. And that's what tonight is about. How exciting does this sound? So if you are to genuinely deliver anything that is truly unique and original, you need to activate you. That's the only one option that you have. And I'm going to tell you how to do this. Don't worry, it's not just me saying you have to do this. But ironically, that's all you ever have if you dare go there. If you tap into your truth, you are immediately going to bring originality and charisma to your acting. It's going to make you interesting. And I said I teach the Ivanich book stuff. Jim Carrey, who played Ace Ventura, was in Liar Liar, Cable Guy. He is a student of Ivanich book. And his story is really interesting and demonstrates this. He kept getting rejection after rejection after rejection. He was training with her. He was getting auditions, but getting rejected. And he was saying, why am I getting rejected? And then when he was acting and he'd say he'd make a mistake, he would go into what we now know him as Jim Carreyisms. He'd like go, and all that crazy, wacky stuff. And she said, you need to start doing that. Bring that, your truthful response, into your acting. And he was like, are you serious? She said, yeah, no one else is doing it. And it's who you are. Bring all of that into your acting. And as soon as he started doing that, his career took off. And the movie The Mask, which was his big break, and I think it was about 1995, 94, that made millions globally. And that movie script was circulating around Hollywood for decades as they were trying to find an actor. They knew the talent, the producers knew it needed a talent that was physical, that was able to bring a lot of humor themselves to the role, to bring the script to another level. It wasn't just the story and the lines that were funny. It needed a performance. And they were waiting for him to come along. And the performance, that performance made him a global star. And it's, how we know him. And, he's gone on and continue. He's completely unique, isn't he, Jim Carrey? Even in his serious films, there's a uniqueness to him. So he's a good example of this. If any of you got any questions, do type away in the chat if you've got any questions or anything. I'll move on now then. So, but creativity takes courage. It can be really hard to dare to tap into yourself. A lot of people don't want to do it. It's like, too scary. So I'm going to show you how to do this tonight. So see your character as a glove, but instead of taking yourself to the character, you're always bringing the character to you. So you're making the elements of the script, the story and the characterization. You're making it match you, who you are, rather than you trying to meet the script, if that makes sense. So you're always being you. In, as Stanislavski says, like imaginary circumstances, heightened circumstances. So the glove has to fit you, not the other way around. As soon as you try to fit the character, it collapses. So imagine this. Take as a scenario, Macbeth. If you were to play Macbeth tomorrow, how could it's going to be a murderer? He's going to be a serial killer. He's going to be aspiring to be a king. So you've got to find those traits within you, and you might immediately straight away think, no. That's too way off. All I can do is imitate and pretend to be a king. or a wannabe king. It's like, no, you got to find that ambition. What are you ambitious about? What is there? Maybe it's the drive you have for your acting career. Maybe you could use that to fuel your approach to Macbeth. So it is about, you have to really put yourself under the microscope of this and activate who you are, to activate potential in the roles, rather than just going for the tried and tested cliche empty acting that so many aspiring actors do. So how do you do this then? So I teach various techniques to achieve this in my don'tgotodramaschool.com online course, and some of them are projection. They're called projection, mental references, obstacles, and mental monologue. Projection is when you're taking people from your own life that you've got issue with, and you're projecting them onto your fellow actors. So although you might be, you know, in a scene with your mum, a character who's your mum in the script, you haven't got any history with the actress playing your mother. You might have just met them. You know, the nature of film and TV acting, certainly TV, soap operas, you could meet an actor, you know, 5 minutes ago, and then you're in bed with them. I've heard that. So you have to, you know, immediately find a way to activate a sense of history and intimacy with your fellow actors. And the way you do this is through projection. There's mental references. I'm not going to go into these in too much detail, but that, yeah, all your mental references, that what you're talking about, you have to take it from your own life. You create obstacles that on various levels to bring the script and your performance to life. You take them from your own life. And also your mental monologue, what's going on in between the ears when you're not speaking. You have to make that relevant to your own life. So there's so much personalization that you as aspiring actors need to know about to really activate your true authenticity and charisma. I'm going to share with you one technique tonight that gets you digging deep, and it's going to give you a solid foundation to start delivering everything that I'm talking about right now. And it's called your personal timeline. And let me just share the screen with you now. So can you all see this? Let me know you can see it. So what this is, so this comes from week 3 of my online drama school. So, and what you do, you've got these different pages. Hold on. So you've got these different pages, and you've got, so the first page can be, so you only add the significant memory. So basically you're creating like a timeline, a graph of your life, not your character's life. So and this, you don't do this in one sitting. You can keep bringing bringing yourself back to it and adding to this over time, but you're only adding the big, significant, memorable, emotive moments, not necessarily mundane stuff. This is going to be extremely personal, and you can write this in code if you wish. You just need to make sure that you understand it when you refer back to it. So at the first page, and you know, this is just a template. You can expand on this as it suits you. I'll put the first page as the first 1 to 10 years of your life. The next page is 10 to 15, age 15. Third page is age 15 to 20, and so on. So you can see how this is working, hopefully. And yeah, and you basically fill it in. And here is an example one here. Let me just, you can see this okay? Yeah, do let me know if you can't see it. I think you can. It's showing okay on my end. But yeah, so this person was born in May 1982 in Doncaster. And their first memory is being in the toilet at play school. They were in a school nativity play, playing a king. And really, they were really into road signs, the colors and the pictures when they were young. And what's this say? They're a massive He-Man fan. They watch cars. Yeah, so you're putting down everything that, you know, is unique to you, like all your you know, everything that your idiosyncrasies, as they say in it, things that your quirks, things that make you interesting, that unique. The first person looks like the nan died when 4 years old, so that was their first experience of death. They moved to Cornwall a year later. They got bullied at school, so they remember feeling very frightened and vulnerable. yeah, so this is basically how you go on. But it was beat up by Darren Jackson. Again, you're putting specifics into this to trigger you when you're reading it back. That, and ultimately, as you go through this, if you can see on the screen, you're just adding to it. And it mentions GCSEs there. What's it? As a teenager, it looks like Mark. Is it the brother Mark was diagnosed with a brain tumor? He slept in the same bed with Mark, scared he'd die in his sleep. So quite specific memories there. Very scared of death around this time. Felt really vulnerable, and the bullying started again. So you are putting you're kind of putting on paper a timeline, the really emotive experiences of your own life. You're putting it as a log for you to then refer to later, when, you know, as an actor, when processing scripts, reading scripts, interpreting scripts, and find it, how can you bring this character and make it fit you like a glove? What personal life experiences can you activate and draw upon to bring this character in the script to life for you? How does that sound? So yeah, you map out over several sheets of paper a personal timeline of your life so far. Yeah, so it's positive memories, negative memories, happy, sad moments, births, deaths. This is the work. You can't do it all in one sitting. It is quite draining, actually. It's, you know, you're really thinking about yourself in a way that you may never have done before. And that can be quite confronting. As you start doing this, write in code if you need to, you're going to know what triggers you. You're going to realize what wounds are still raw, like, you know, on that fictional one there. But, you know, when he starts thinking about his brother dying, he hasn't told us what happened to the brother on there. It's fictional anyway, so it's not real. But, you know, if the brother died, and those memories of his brother, you know, sleeping with his brother, being afraid for his brother when he was young, if the brother did die, that could be a real trigger. So when you're playing a script where you need to cry, I mentioned mental references earlier on. You have, although you might be talking about another fictional scenario, you have to start thinking of those and tapping into those painful memories from your own life to activate the emotion needed for that performance. And you know what? When you do this, it's like you get the whole room crying. This is one of the, when I do face-to-face training, I give people a script from Happy Valley, if you've heard of that. It was a BBC drama, really hard hitting, as all those dramas are. What was it? It was the police officer's daughter, teenage daughter, got raped, and then committed suicide. And the mum, who's still alive, who's the police officer, the main character, she's raising the child, her daughter's child, who was a product of the rape. And he's, you know, the son is starting to go, or grandson is starting to go a bit off the, you know, it's starting to be disruptive at school. And there's a scene where she starts talking about her dead daughter and what happened, and telling the head teacher to give, you know, some understanding of what's going on in the boy's home life. And it says you have to start crying mid-scene. It says that on the script. Everyone says to me, I can't cry, I don't know how to cry. And I say, well, give it a go. And it's all fake. It's all like, and it's not very good. It's, you know, you don't feel it. That's the thing. You know, it's not good because you don't feel it. And so we do this exercise and various other exercises around this. And when they genuinely start crying, the whole room starts to cry. It's that magnetic, the emotion, it's that all consuming. It's scary though, isn't it, this stuff though, because you're having to, you know, delve into what you would probably rather forget, and what you're trying to cope with, or what you've been trying to cope with. But you're bringing deep resonant emotion into your acting. It's not imitation. And when you're watching it, even in rehearsal, you know it's true and it's moving. It brings you huge respect as an actor, because you know, people can see you're willing to go there. It can see, yeah, you're serious about your craft. You're not just wanting to skim the surface and deliver, you know, sort of cheap cheap acting, you're really willing to put your whole heart and soul into it. It's those actors that are successful. People want those actors. And this is what the great actors are doing every day. That's why they're great. Not everyone can do this. I've worked with actors, you know, that when you've asked them to do it, I don't want to go there. That's one of their key statements. It's like, well, that's fine. No one can force you to go there, but you ain't going to be good as an actor. The scene is going to smack of, you know, amateurism. People will know you're not really sad. You're faking it. And so that's the choice you have to make as an actor or aspiring professional actor. How much of you are you willing to bring to your art? It takes time and thinking. You need to explore your options in rehearsal and see which choices resonate deepest within you and trigger the emotion. Because you might think on paper, yeah, you know, it's when my brother died or whatever, that is really going to trigger me for this scene. But then you might find when you're using it in rehearsal, it doesn't work. So you have to dig around on something else within your timeline to to then find something that does work for you. How does this sound? Do let me know. Are some of you doing this already? Hopefully there's some drama courses out there that are teaching this. There must be. The really expensive ones are, but it's really expensive ones that a lot of people can't get into. So it's become an elitist industry. If you are truly and deeply feeling it as an actor, undoubtedly we're going to feel it as an audience. As I said, you know, even if it was recorded 50 years ago, if it's real, we feel it. We feel straight away that emotion that was trapped in celluloid and then played 50 years later. This is my story. So I created the world's first internet soap opera, and I self-funded it. Was it from 2002 to 2008? And I started doing it. I'd worked in television on all these soaps. I knew how to do it, and it was a community-produced soap opera, so anyone could be in it. It was open to anyone. It was intergenerational from 8 to 80, and it ended up on a BBC TV channel, become their top-rated show. Got major reviews in the Guardian and mainstream media in the UK. The Sun newspaper said it was as good as the mainstream TV shows. But at the very beginning, before I'd come across the Ivanacha book stuff, on my background, I'd gone to university and studied theatre studies and English, which was kind of half of it was acting theory, but it was quite dated. And so I taught my actors. They all told me when they first joined that they could already act. So they were kind of and they passed auditions. And then as the filming of the show went on, it became clear they were very limited. The acting was very shallow. And I spent about, I'd say, between 5 and 7 years trying to find the solution, the best acting techniques, to teach them to up the level of, you know, acting quality in the show. And for years I couldn't find anything. It was still, you know, we were doing regular workshops every week and it just wasn't happening. There was no improvement. And as soon as I found the Ivanacha book stuff, which is this stuff where you're asked, it's all happening on a mental level, and the actors are tapping into their own genuine truth and experience, it just changed. You can get people acting at a deep level within 10 minutes with this stuff, even if they've never acted before. But if they're willing to go there, that's the thing. But within 6 months of introducing this, though, people found it really tough because they weren't used to having to mine themselves in the way that these techniques were asking. And half the cast quit within 6 months of me introducing this. And it was like, fine, okay, that's fine. But the acting got so much better. The quality of the show, its reception, the respect the public gave the show just went through the roof. So I know, and this is why I teach this stuff. This stuff works. This is real acting. So Rintu has said, let's get this question up. Good question. So how to practice during training session? As each character will show ways, or am I? It's finding your own anger. Rintu, because it's easy to act the cliche of anger, but it's interesting, isn't it? Because it depends on the context of the situation, but so much of drama is about subtext, isn't it? So your character might be angry but desperately trying to hold it back. So it's trying to find that complexity, almost the duplicity of any emotion. When we cry, first thing we try to do is not cry if we're crying in public, isn't it? So we're fighting back, we're trying to repress our emotions. So it is, but once you tap into the truth, and again, I'm kind of teaching you in isolation, but this works I showed you the page at the start with all the different components. They all work together. So so you need mastery of all the components to really get a handle on this and bring this into your performance, be a great actor. You can't just do this in isolation. But yeah, it is about knowing how to interpret scripts, knowing how to, because like say Macbeth, you could play, or let's take a different character. Say you were cast in a biography of Hitler, and on page 5 he kills someone. The character is going to do that action anyway. It's scripted. You can't change the physical act of the murder on page 5. But do you want to play him as a psycho bad guy, or could you play him as a really compelling, charismatic individual that is going to kill someone anyway? That's when you tap into your truth. That's when you're, just trying to think, what other characters are there? Yeah, like say Hamlet, Shakespeare's Hamlet, everyone knows he's melancholic. But I've had depression, and the last thing I wanted to be was doomy and gloomy. So you hide depression through a mask of laughter sometimes. And they say a lot of the greatest comedians are depressed, don't they? So there's the duality of all emotions all the time. And it's tapping into that truth rather than just saying, oh, right, this character's angry. It says in the script, I'm angry. I've got to play angry. It's identifying the truth of when you felt anger in your own life and then tapping into that memory and that experience and bringing that in. Does that make sense? You let me know. So the big thing, this is the radical thing, and this is where the kind of happiness coaching sinks in with this drama training. When you act on this level, you start to heal yourself. Your acting, your creativity becomes therapy. By daring to confront, face, and accept your shadow self and your wounds, you start to lessen the emotional pain that you've buried deep within you. And this is extremely cathartic. The Ivanhoe book stuff. People read the Ivanhoe book, Acting Philosophy, or almost as a self-help manual. Non-actors read her stuff. You have to dig deep, though. You do have to confront mentally and utilize any abuse you may have suffered as a kid or in your early years, and any long suppressed traumas. And I would say, actually, so many creative people that I work with, actors and writers, they have suffered some kind of early trauma. And I think it's what has propelled, those individuals into wanting to be creative. Because I think ultimately through creating fiction and, acting and writing and any kind of creative art form, you're expressing yourself, aspects of yourself, and in expressing yourself, you're exploring yourself and you're processing your own life. And the best, I work with script writers as well, and the best writers are the ones that are able to genuinely bring their experience to the table, because then they're writing authentic stuff. And I think a lot of television at the moment is trash. I think it's not, they're just going through the motion. It's all cliche. The amount of stuff, in the soaps, UK soaps about serial killers, none of these writers have been a serial killer or, experienced someone dying at the hands of a serial killer. So it's just churned out pulp, and it's just, no one's watching it. The viewing figures are plummeted. Whereas you watch something that when there's genuine emotion and truth to it, it seems intellectually superior because it's original, it's complex, it's compelling, and also it's hugely emotive. And I think it teaches us something about ourselves. at a new level. It gives us a new understanding of ourselves as audience members when we're seeing something original that's tapping into someone else's truth rather than just, you know, cliche. How to avoid ending up feeling mentally bad after reliving your negative memories and acting. Yeah, brilliant. I teach this in week 4. I teach mindset, and I teach meditation. Yeah, I think that's absolutely brilliant question. Let me put it on the screen. It's the lady from Spain, isn't it? Yeah. Is it Aniha? Yeah, you have to know how to manage yourself. You have to. So important. You know, you'll take yourself for scenes to really dark places, and then you have to pull yourself back to then go home and function as a normal human being. Nicole Kidman, you know, Tom Cruise's ex-wife, she says, you know, although we're paid as actors, you know, 20 million, 50 million salaries, she said being an actor in some of the movies she's done, it's like being a every day going into a boxing ring and being emotionally punched. You have to deliver this stuff day after, you know, day, take after take. And that's why actors have trailers, so that they can go and prep and focus between scenes. And everyone thinks, oh, that is because they're important and they're special and they want to pamper themselves and self-indulgent. No, it's so they can focus themselves mentally, ready for these big scenes, the next scene. Yeah, really good question. Thank you for that. Yeah, all I've said this kind of thing. All artists have wounds. That's why you're pulled towards acting. There's a deep need to explore and express yourself. And this is the work you're wanting to do. You want to share your truth with the world, I believe. But creativity takes courage. It's almost like you have to be willing to expose yourself, to be emotionally naked. If doing this on stage with in front of a live audience, or for TV and film, you know, to the world potentially for generations after, because your performance could be replayed and replayed and replayed for generations to witness. Yeah. And by exploring and accepting yourself and bringing the character to fit you, you can find a handle on any character. And again, you know, like, you know, there's so many performances of Lady Macbeth out there, and it's easy to fall into the category of, oh, I just play it like I think everyone else has played it, like as a, you know, woman, mad nutter woman, you know, crazy witch kind of thing. But if you can find, if you can tap into when you felt, you know, mentally unhinged, when you felt maybe the pressures of life were on you, or even, you know, if you're really ambitious as one aspiring actor, and you know, maybe you've done some dodgy stuff to fellow actors to scupper their chances there, and it's tapping into your truth to bringing it to the character. As you start to mine your own life for material, you are going to realize what a rich well of resources and creativity you have at your disposal, because we're a never ending kind of, you know, source or well of inspiration and creativity and potential if you activate yourself. But as I said, so many people are unwilling to even go there. They just want to resort to cliche, what others are doing. So it is almost like, isn't it, it's almost like the amateur actor, the uninspiring actor is externally focused. They're looking at other people, what has other people done. And you do need to observe the world, you know, because you can see people that walk funny or have got funny mannerisms, and you're poaching on, you're like, oh yeah, that could be a character, that could be a character. But ultimately you have to really go within and find your truth within to be able to authentically portray what you're being asked to do. Yeah, and it's the same with script writing. If you're a writer, start writing about your own life experience. Bring your personal experience to the table. And if you're an aspiring director as well as an actor, you know, we see so many people wanting to make zombie movies, and they're just copying other zombie movies. Forget that. Write that film. Probably write about the subject you don't talk about. You've been so afraid of admitting this to anyone. It might be a work in progress. You won't be able to do it straight away, but tap into that, because that, without a doubt, will probably be your your super talent, your super story. Yeah. How's this sound? Let me know. It's good to be getting your interactions. Yeah, so many writers and directors are trying to imitate the last great hit at the box office. People want originality. You know, there's so many Marvel films that are the same, so many alien invasion movies that are the same. Give us something new, give us something fresh. That's how you get the industry looking at you twice. It is originality, being different, daring to be different. Don't imitate, recognize your own significance, dare to share your own unique life story with the world. And you don't need to tell people this. You know, Oprah Winfrey, those of you that know Oprah Winfrey, you know, she's a TV presenter, or was, but she did The Color Purple for Spielberg in the 80s. And she hadn't done much acting experience, but she'd read the book and loved it. And it was all about, like, you know, female black repression, abuse, female. And she, you know, we all know Oprah's story. She was abused as a child countless times, and she activated that. She tapped into that. She got an Oscar for it. This is how this stuff. And yeah, that was from someone that acting wasn't her career, but she wanted to. She what's the word? She picketed Spielberg. She really wanted that part. She was insistent on playing a particular part in the script, and she made sure she got that part. She knew what she wanted to do with that part. It was all about her, bringing her experience of what, and she delivered big time, which is now part of cinema history. This guy, Jonathan Mayers, I met him at a Netflix event last year, and he said this. He said, I kind of paraphrase for him. He's a top American actor, those of you that know him. And he said, the thing, that part of you, or that trauma that's happened to you, that you are spending so much energy trying to hide and deny, it is that what you need to embrace and tap into in your art to unlock the energy that will bring you success. He said as soon as he started doing that on set, he just had a whole other level of energy. His just performances were so much more spontaneous. It's almost like, you know, if you are trying to hide from the world a part of yourself, you switch off a massive part of your own charisma and potential. And so you just have to open the floodgates. And by this, I don't mean that he was walking around telling everyone that, oh, my dad beat me as a child, or whatever his circumstance was. You're not doing that. You're just doing it mentally. You're allowing yourself mentally to tap into this stuff. You're not wearing a t-shirt broadcasting it to the world, but you know what you're doing and where you're going with your performances. Yeah, it will bring you all of the above that I mentioned: charisma, uniqueness, energy. It will be what you stand for, your unique selling point for the industry. It will make you unique. A lot of actors aren't doing this. Dare to do this. So we're near the end. Let me know how this sounds. Put in the and I ask you for the one thing you're going to take away. So, but I'm going to give you the 3 freebies now. So I'm going to give you free access to week 3 of my online workshop, which is this. It's a recording of this session, okay, and it will have the template for the personal timeline as a download, so you don't have to do it yourself. Okay, so how to access this? You go to my website, don'tgotodramaschool.com/online training. Okay, and then this is the code you need. So it's free course -week 3. You can watch this on demand afterwards, so don't worry about missing this now. It's on the YouTube. It'll be on the YouTube channel for at least a week before I take it down. And then, yeah, so this is what the page will look like, the online training. You find week 3, which is this one here. It's called Your Personal Timeline. And you click on it, click on the image. It costs $9.99, but this code will give it to you for free. So this is the page you'll come to. You click here. What does that say? I can't see what it says. But you click the blue, enroll now, it says. You click the blue bar. And then you enter here. I should put your name and details in. credit card, ignore that. You just put the code in, free course hyphen week 3. You put the code in there, click the apply, the blue apply button, and yeah, and it will confirm, and then you hit continue. It will confirm that it's free. You've got it for free. Doesn't ask you to enter any credit card details or anything, and then it gets emailed to you. And yeah, and then you just hit the access the link. So that will get you a copy of this. Again, you'll see this in another version of this with the free downloads of this tutorial. Yeah, and you can train in screen acting with me via my online drama training platform at don'tgotodramaschool.com or dgtds.com. If you've got any questions or queries about that, message me through the website. Happy to answer them. Second freebie then. I work with the film and TV industry, promoting a lot of their opportunities. As I said, I know what I said earlier about the emergence of new talent. There's going to be an opportunity very soon for new talent, less expensive talent that the streamers will want to engage with, talent that is ready. And one platform these opportunities are going to start coming through is Film London. This is supported by the London Mayor. Even if you're international, some of you are international, sign up for this anyway. Don't worry about the fact it's UK based. An opportunity could come up that, you know, if you're Spanish, they could need a Spanish actress, you could audition for it. But this is it. It's the Equal Access Network. If you sign up for this on the website, they ask for basic information from you. And then every week they send you 4 emails through. It tells you what's going on with them. They send you loads of vacancies, training opportunities. Some of them you do need to be unemployed for. You can just tell them you're unemployed. But yeah, you'll get a swamp. It's continual. And the training is upskilling. I do know for a fact, working with the people behind the scenes, that they're moving. The focus is currently, for the past few months, has been on behind the scenes roles and opportunities, like in makeup, wardrobe, camera staff, props, etc. The focus is starting to move towards acting opportunities, acting training. So log on to this, okay? And the final gift is this, Cine Circle UK. Log on to there and subscribe to their page, because this partners with Film London, and it's specifically filmmaker, new acting talent opportunities. There was actually they did a new acting talent conference yesterday in London, which you could go to. So it's all about, you know, getting training, hearing from expert speakers. A lot of it's free or very low cost, like say £6 a ticket. But this, again, this is where it's not only having the talent in this industry, it's about being networking, knowing where to go, knowing how to meet the right people. And with all of these 2 opportunities that I've highlighted to you today, this will give you that in that a lot of other talent won't have. So do sign up for that. And if you could share with me the one thing that you've learned today that you're going to take away, I'd very much like to know what that is. But we're coming near to the end now. Just trying to see if you put any other comments in. And if any of you have any questions, fire away. Anyone? Anyone want to tell me what the takeaway is? How does this stuff make you feel? Is it scary? Or do you think, yeah, I'm ready to do that, ready to step up and do this? Cool. Okay, well, I'm back next month. What's the next? Yes, we got the next one. It was a repeat from last month's one, so we had tech issues. But it's happening on Sunday the 11th at 7 p.m. It's how to become a charismatic actor. So again, it's we kind of half mentioned that in this tapping into your truth, but it's more than that. So It's all about personal energy, raising your personal energy. Cool. So we've got one comment here from Aniha. Sounds good. Gonna try my next. Brilliant. Do let me keep in touch. Let me know how it goes. No, this is really good. Thank you so much. And daring to tap into my emotions is the takeaway for me. Thank you very much. Oh no, my pleasure. Oh, Camille here's coming on. You've got more people who are interacting now. That's fantastic. Thank you for your. No, my pleasure. Honestly, I've worked with a lot of talent over the years. I've seen really good talent that hasn't broken through because of the elitist, certainly in the UK, the elitist system that has existed. That system is now breaking away. You know, everything crumbles through economic forces. That's always the downfall for a lot of industries and governments and etc. And there's a massive economic shift happening in the film industry and TV industry, which can only be remedied by embracing new, cheaper. Doesn't mean you're going to be, you know, £5 an hour cheap, but new. Initially, you'll be cheap because cheaper than the established stars that come on in 10, 20, 50 million a movie. You'll be cheaper than that. But yeah, smaller budgets will be coming through for drama productions, TV productions, and it will be open to new talent to get in. There's always a hunger for new talent on all levels, but most people aren't ready for it. Most people doubt themselves. That's where the mindset training part that I teach is so important. You have to prime your brain so you're ready to move forward and grasp the opportunity and not feel like someone with imposter syndrome or something. Because a lot of, we're wired to doubt ourselves. You have to rewire yourself so you're not hindered by that. But yeah, there's huge opportunities coming, and I will be a big driver of that. So stay in touch with me. But yeah, I offer training to prime people ready for when this starts to break through. But no, thank you so much. My pleasure. Thank you so much for giving me your time and attention this evening. Hopefully you all enjoyed it, benefited from it. I look forward to seeing you next month. Yeah, if you come through Meetup, all the information is on the Meetup group for how to enroll next month. All right then, see you soon. Have a great evening. Bye bye.
If you're an aspiring actor, don't go to dramaschool.com. There is another way. Don't go to dramaschool.com.